Action!
Okay, hi.
Hi.
My name is Clover. Today we're going to be doing an interview about Bowie. Introduce yourself to the camera.
So, hi, my name's Millie and I am a Bowie fan.
How old are you and what course are you doing?
I'm 16 years old and I study A-level art, drama, history and German.
So, you are a Bowie fan.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. What sort of age did you sort of get into Bowie?
I'd say when I was about 14, so in about 2021, I started to get into him through just listening to his music online, and then as I started to get more into it, I would buy vinyl records.
Amazing. And how did you sort of find him online? Did you sort of get influenced by social media, or was it?
Yeah, I saw him. Obviously, he's got such an iconic look, so I sort of knew who he was, and then I started to look more into it. But one of my teachers from secondary school was a massive Bowie fan, so she definitely inspired me to look into him more. So.
Brilliant. Well, sort of, how did you get into that then? Obviously, you said about finding him online, and how did that sort of start your journey with being a fan?
I saw him and thought, oh, he looks interesting and cool. So I started listening to his music, and then I went on to watch him in interviews and films and get much more into his music.
On the topic of films, did you sort of find his films more interesting than his music, or his music better then, or sort of on an equal level?
I think I do prefer his music just because I listen to that more than I do watch his films, but my favourite films are either The Man Who Fell to Earth or Labyrinth.
Labyrinth is my favourite too, I must admit. So what kind of inspires him? I know you said you're a drama student. Does that sort of affect that? Does it sort of influence you to be more eccentric in the way you do things? Or
Definitely. I feel like he has changed my personality a bit. Like, I see how he puts himself across, and in a world where not many people, dressed like him or acted like him, he was still himself and confident about it. So when I'm going into performances or just being myself, it does inspire me to be more confident.
No, that's brilliant. So obviously Bowie's sort of a bit of an icon. What kind of about him do you find better than other artists in the industry?
I think what stands out for me is that when he was in his rise to fame throughout the 60s and his career in the 70s and onwards, he was one of the sort of leading figures into dressing in a louder way, and he really put, his music's got such an interesting sort of demeanour around it, and his general vibes and aesthetics that go along with it.
For sure. And speaking of fashion as well, do you think he affected the fashion industry after the sort of rise to fame in 1969?
Definitely. He's worked with countless designers, and so many fashion students have been inspired by him. And even today in the music industry, with people like Harry Styles, they've definitely taken inspiration from some of Bowie's looks.
For sure, and we hear a lot of people say about Harry Styles being similar. Would you say that's about right, or would you say that's a bit of a push?
I think, obviously, they are very different, and definitely in their music they're different. I'm not overly a massive Harry Styles fan, but I do feel like David has inspired him, because Harry's become quite a loud dresser, and especially with gender stereotypical wear, Harry doesn't always match to what he used to wear. He's definitely changed his style. So
yeah, it's okay. Mum's doing it all this morning. So obviously he was very big in the 70s after his first big release in '69. Would you say he had a big impact on the industry, or is it sort of the same afterwards?
I'd say that he's really definitely had a large impact on the industry with, what we said before about fashion, as well as his music, because he's worked with so many influential artists like Iggy Pop and, oh my god, I've forgotten his name again. With influential people like Iggy Pop and Mick Jagger, so I think he's definitely influenced the industry in that way.
Yeah, so I'd have to agree, honestly. So obviously Bowie's no longer with us, unfortunately. Icon, may he rest in peace. If you had the chance to speak to him before, what would you ask him?
I'd definitely ask him about his motivation to put himself out there and where he got his confidence from, because as a performer myself, sometimes if you want to try something a bit different like what Bowie did, you have to have that confidence and that drive to be able to put yourself out there. So I definitely want to know where he got his amazing confidence and his drive for what he does.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, honestly. You could ask him so many questions. He had such
Definitely,
a
so
interesting career. But yeah, lastly, on that note, can you tell me one of your favourite songs and why?
So I'd say my favourite album is definitely his The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. It's a no-skip album. But out of them, I'd say probably Moon Age Daydream. Or Lady Stardust. But also, you know, all his songs are great.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for coming to the interview.
Thank you for having me.
Talking to you. So yeah, thank you so much.